I'm live. I'm live. Well, it's Wednesday, March 11th, 2026, 7:18 ish, 17. We had a tornado watch. We had something blow through, and I'm on the 15th floor, so it got a little dicey there for a minute. Um, yeah, it's been a while, maybe a week or so since I've been on. Been a little busy with Miss Cassie because she did get sick and then she got better, then she got sick. I mean, not like sick where I had to rush her to the emergency room or anything, but just an upset belly. So I've been, she's a senior dog. I mean, 12 and a half. My Zeusy, he lived till over 14, thinking he was going to live to much older. But, upset belly. And um, so we've resolved that, but I'm just keeping an eye on her, and she's wanting her usual, her good stuff. But I have to. What are you doing, Missy? What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you causing problems? But I have to keep an eye. I don't want to upset her belly. It's just it took a while to get it straightened up. But we go to see her new doctor here soon because her other doctor is over an hour away. So she just had her general checkup. So she's pretty healthy. I mean, she does have bad teeth, but I mean, she's not uncomfortable with it, but they're not in the best shape. And Cassie, are you being Zeus? She's like, Zeus is taking over because the thing with Zeus, when if I got busy, he would start getting in trouble. And Cassie never did that, but she's doing it now because Zeus is taking over. But anyway, she's feeling better, but we're just taking it one day at a time. It's been up and down, and it's exhausting because I got a little scared because I thought, Zeus was fine. And then one day he got a little sick, and then he just couldn't recover, and then he was gone. So I got a little scared, but she seems to be doing okay. We go for a checkup, with her new doctor here soon. And, she never lost her appetite. She stayed hydrated, uh, slept well, a normal routine. She was behaving. It was just an upset belly. She, like I said, she was not in pain. She will let me know if she's uncomfortable or in pain. She's not shy about that. Zeus, he wouldn't let me know. I'd have to figure it out. But with her, she'd let me know. But she wasn't in it. It was just so, I really think she picked something up through her paws out in the conditions got really muddy outside after all the snow was melting away and it just was messy. And so now I'm like super paranoid about where she's walking, um, because this is a new area to us. So, it's like a lot of traffic and stuff. So she um, it seems like it's not dirty or anything, but it's just a lot of traffic. So I ordered some new booties for her, longer booties that will stay on her to feel more comfortable letting her walk through certain areas. But she's laying there staring at me like her normal self. I mean, she started trying to get in trouble, but she's laying down. But yeah, so it was kind of a rough week. Not rough, like I said, she was doing fine, but I was getting nervous, um, that she wasn't going to fully recover, but she's fully recovered. Because she was recovered one day and then she wasn't. And so I had to keep changing things up. So what I started doing with her is the very first thing is I gave her pumpkin and rice and water. And the basmati rice, which isn't as high in all the crap that's in regular white rice, um, and 100% pumpkin, nothing else, no additives, just 100% pumpkin. And mix it up with her food. And like, I mean, the next day she was like, okay. And then I said, all right, well, then I'll incorporate a little, the boiled skinless, boneless chicken. I cooked it up and mixed it in. Nope. So then I took her off that, put her on back on the pumpkin and rice, and then she started looking like everything was okay. So then I was mixing a little bit of kibble in it, and she still was okay. Then I put a little bit more. I put a little chicken in there to get her some more protein, and then so then it just became straight rice, because the pumpkin you only should give them for her weight and stuff, like 1 tablespoon throughout the day. So I would mix up a jar of the white rice with a tablespoon of pumpkin in it and water, and just kind of feed that to her throughout the day. But then after so long, the pumpkin will start turning, it's a fibrous food. So my cousin had suggested I get her the Pepsid AD. I had tried like the K peptate, that didn't work. And I had purchased some Pepto Bismol, and I didn't give it to her because I was trying to get it naturally. Because I had bought, like, I always had Kaopectate and Pepto on hand for Zusi. Um, and Cassie just never had any digestive issues. And so I bought, I had it, wasn't even open, the K-peptate and the Pepto, and never opened, and it was expired, like 2 years expired. I was like, oh my God, because that's how she never gets sick. So I threw those out. I did have uh, some K-peptate, you know, that I purchased at the pet store, which is, outrageously priced. But I had that, which was not expired, but it just didn't work for her. And then I'm like, all right, let me go out and get some Pepto Bismol. And if it doesn't resolve, I'll try that. But I never did try it because my cousin said, try the Pepsid AD, which I never thought to do that. Um, and so I got that, and that helped. Um, when I had given her chicken, that helped. And so I think I gave her two of those over the period, you know. I think I only gave her two, was all she really needed. No, three actually, over throughout the week, if she started kind of going back the other way. But now her poop is fine. I mean, she wasn't vomiting. She had one the very first day was vomiting and loose stools. Then which turned into diarrhea. I mean, I don't mean to go on and on about Cassie, but I am, because um, that's what my week has been. So she is drinking a little bit more water than usual, and also peeing more than usual. So we'll have the doctor take a look at that. And again, she's 12 and a half, which is what, 70 in people years. Um, but she's always been, healthy, and so wasn't Zeus. Zeus was healthy. And I can't tell you how many times people have said that, yeah, they're just one day they're good and the next day they're not. And, it doesn't help with this ultra uber processed food that we have for them, and the expense of trying to do natural feeding to them, making sure that they get like all the nutrients that they need, like the glucosamine and, like, I mean, but like I said, I like mixing it up, where I give her mix up fresh stuff with them. Right now, she's just getting kibble. The last couple days, just kibble, just trying to get her system set, and then we'll go back to her normal stuff. But anyway, I mean, like I said, she's not uncomfortable. She's not in pain. Um, she's doing her normal. I took her off her anxiety medication. She was on trazodone after we lost Zusi. Her separation anxiety went through the roof, and just she struggled. And so I had her on that, and I've been wanting to, like, try and get her off of it, and her anxiety just wouldn't allow it. But I didn't dare give her anything while she was having issues with her stomach. And I started thinking maybe she was going through a little bit of withdrawal from that combined. So, what are you doing, Cassie? Cassie, hang on a second. She's getting in trouble. What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on. Come on, let's go. Up, 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 up. Why are you getting in trouble? Why are you snooping around looking for trouble, huh? Why? Stay out of trouble, Missy. She's funny. Looking for trouble. Yep. Anyway, so she hasn't been on her meds all week, and I even had to leave a few times. And she seems like um, she did okay. I have cameras throughout the house, so I can check on her while I'm gone, and she seemed like she was fine. Because the reason she was on it because she would howl the whole building, the whole neighborhood could hear her. She just was like in pain if she was left alone. So anyway, she seemed like she was fine. So we'll see how that goes. I'll ask the doctor. Anyway, just going on. What I wanted to kind of talk about a little bit was, so I watch Gavin Fish. He has a YouTube channel, Gavin Fish, Fish. And so he has a web page where he goes through, it's gavinfish.com. So he keeps track of cases that he covers, and there's a couple of cases that he really uh, is focused on. And the thing with Gavin is so some of these cases are not, um, nobody's talking about them. And so this one case, Sarah Matthews Easton, I never heard. And I think he said she's a friend of his sister's, or they went to school together. So, so I just wanted to kind of go over his notes on it. Um, Oops, come on. There we go. About this case. It just kind of struck me as interesting. He's got a couple videos on it. So he's got the murder of Sarah Easton, part one, abused and manipulated. Part one Q&A was their GSR residue. Part two toxicology. She was asleep. So he's got part three. I don't know what the other one's to. Real pigskin. The lens that I will go to. Okay, so he talks about. So he's got. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 videos. 7, 8 videos on this, and then he's got pictures of her. Yeah, so he's got a lot on his website, and then it tracks back to his YouTube videos. So Sarah, with no H, Matthews, with an S, Easton, was a 31-year-old mother of three and a wife of the Marysville, this is what makes it, Marysville, California Police Department's chief, Aaron Easton. So it was their police chief. Sometime in the early morning hours of Sunday, August 16th, 2015, Sarah was shot in the head while in the bedroom of is it Yuba City, California? Is it Yuba? I think it's Yuba. I don't think the Y is pronounced. Yuba City, California home she shared with her family. Her children were in the bedroom on the other side of the wall. Sarah was shot by Aaron's service pistol. This is like the third or fourth case of police officers' wives or significant others being killed by their service weapons and them crying that it was self-inflicted. There's a officer in I think it's right outside St. Augustine or within St. Augustine, Florida, that he got away with it. And to this day, the family, of course, doesn't believe it. And the brother of that case, he was a cop also. And at first he didn't believe it, but now he believes that his sister took her own life. So I don't know. I forget the name. I'd have to look it up. But anyway, so her children were in the bedroom on the other side of the wall. Sarah was shot by Aaron's service pistol. He said that she killed herself. She would have turned 32 years old 2 days later. Due to several layers of conflicts of interest, Aaron and Sarah were reportedly a part of a swingers group that included elected officials from counties throughout the area. The case was referred to the California Department of Justice for investigation, led at the time by Kamala Harris. Oh, Kamala. Okay, was referred to the California Department of Justice led at the time by Kamala Harris, a politician who later became a U.S. Senator and the 49th Vice President of the United States. After her death, Aaron remarried a Chanel Cheney, a woman some suspect he was having an affair with prior to Sarah's death. In 2017, Aaron Easton resigned as police chief amid accusations of a sexual assault against a police cadet. Oh my God. The couple moved out of California. So, it's just rampant within these, organizations, law enforcement organizations, political organizations, government agencies, all this scandalous, and they always point the finger out at us down here on the ground doing our day-to-day, going to school, going to work, doing whatever, and they're accusing all of us of everything that they accuse everybody of they're doing. So when you have accusations coming from higher up officials of all shady shit, it's them. It's just never, it's just always them. Unbelievable. The couple moved out of California. In May of 2022, Chanel Easton was indicted, this is his wife, his new wife, on 22 counts of wire fraud and 2 counts of aggravated identity theft for a scheme to embezzle funds from a church of which he was employed from 2013 to 2018, and churches. So they're included in that group. Unbelievable. Requests to the California Department of Justice for comment on the status of Sarah's case have gone mostly unanswered. When an unredacted death certificate was finally obtained in April of 2021, law enforcement had been stonewalling Sarah's family's request. Her cause of death was listed as gunshot wound to the head, pending toxicology. The toxicology report was completed in November of 2016. Sarah's case remains open. So it's a suspected homicide. So it was not listed as a suicide. It's just unbelievable, the corruption. And why you got to throw Kamala Harris's name in there? I don't know, Gavin. So what? What does that have to do with, anything? The case was referred. Okay, so it was referred to the California Department of Justice for led at the time. So what does that mean? I know he's got a issue with the Ellen Greenberg's case, because Governor Shapiro was the Attorney General or the State Attorney General at the time for that whole case. So, but I don't know what, throwing Kamala's name in there has to do with anything. But whatever, just saying. So apparently this police chief, no longer police chief, is has not even been looked at, indicted, nothing. Um, and you know, so they are calling it a potential homicide. Well, why are they not doing anything about it, or suspected homicide? I don't understand it. So I guess I have to watch Gavin's videos on it. But yeah, they're always so messy, right? Always, always so messy. Let's go to crime. Let me see. Let me make sure I have enough battery on this old MacBook I have. Crime timelines. I'm going to see if they have it on there. Oh, I have my drink here. I didn't make my tea. Let's see if they have case files, case files. Let's see. Because you know what? I vaguely remember that. Let's see if they have it on here. Search cases. Sarah Matthews. Did I spell that right? No, they don't. Interesting. Because they have a pretty. They have Corey Richins, which she's still on trial, which I haven't really watched it. I'm not really that interested. Every now and then I'll pick up a snippet from some of the channels that I watch. Kelsey Fitzsimmons, um, that's still ongoing. Mangione, pretrial. Sarah Grace Patrick, Mickey Steins, Brandon Banfield. He's been sentenced. Brandon Banfield has been sentenced. Oh no, wait, maybe not. He was convicted. Um, yeah, that was a crazy. That was a crazy, crazy story where with the Brazilian nanny. So Brandon Banfield is charged in connection with the February 26, 2023 killing of his wife, Christine Banfield, and the residents in Spotsylvania County, Virginia. A second adult male was found deceased in the home from a gunshot wound. So it was a whole setup that they called, it was a whole setup. And Juliana Perez Magalise, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, the au pair to an agency. So she was convicted. So she was sentenced. There was kind of a plea deal for her to testify against him. And so the max she can get is 10 years, or she could get time served and, goodbye, go back to Brazil. Um, so she's been in jail for the last 3 years, I want to say 2 or 3 years. And so now the judge, he said 10 years, or I forget who the judge was. She said 10 years, um, the max, because they could have let her go, but they didn't. But by the time, with time served and all that, they're saying she could be out in a few years and then she'll go back to Brazil. So she'll be out in time. She can start a family. She can have her whole life ahead of her. She shot the guy. I mean, he shot the guy, and then he was making noise, and she shot him and finished him off. I'm going to go to the. When did this happen? Oh, they're just doing the background. Okay, let me just go to the end because he is pending. Oh, they don't have the. They don't have the. He was convicted, so pending sentencing. She got her sentence. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, so like I haven't been watching. I've been watching Don Lemon. I've been watching of course the Nancy Guthrie, Savannah's back in New York. Um, the sister and brother-in-law, Tommaso, Sione, and Savannah, they went to visit the house right before she left for New York to see all the memorial things that people are leaving behind, mementos. And they went and checked everything out. And the house was released back to them, so it's secure with lights. And there were some weird things that happened to the neighbors with the FBI or non. It was crazy. And Brian Enton has it on his channel, so I would suggest to go watch that because that was some crazy. It's the woman that's allowing him to park because it's Brian Enton, JLR, and I think a Fox person that's left hanging out. Well, then there's DePietro. He's been hanging around the house still, and somebody else. Dad's gone live or something. A few people are hanging around. Two like news organizations and a couple of YouTubers are still kind of hanging around the house and then the area and stuff to see if anything breaks. Brian Enton, a neighbor allowed him to park in the house at the house, and they had some really like cool stories, kind of like about spotting someone around the January 11th timeline. Also, um, things that happen. They keep saying that, but it's a safe neighborhood. Well, come to find out, in the 80s, they were that exact area. It was called the prime time rapist in the Catalina foothills, and the Guthries lived in that house since the 70s. So this was during the time that they were living there. Uh, so let's go back here. So let's read what in the Arizona Republic, um, talking about this prime time rapist. Oh, well, I can only read part of it, but I'll find it. So, 40 years before the Guthrie case, primetime rapists caused fear in that same area. In fact, the house that Brian Enton is parking at, uh, the people who owned it before the woman owns it was a victim of this person. So fear doesn't often visit the Catalina foothills neighborhood where Nancy Guthrie raised her children, including her daughter Savannah Guthrie, the Today Show anchor, and where authorities said she was abducted. There was a mass shooting in 2011 at the grocery store a few miles north, targeting Gabrielle Giffords. Oh, it was that close. Wow. I know that Sheriff Nanos was part of that team that covered that case. But decades before that, a serial predator stalked the neighborhoods, entering homes during evening television viewing hours, earning the name of the prime time rapist. Let's see if I could find it. Um, let's see if I could find. So, I mean, it's not exactly a crystal or a crime-free area because there has been other little stories. Slain woman with Tucson ties inspires Maryland law. Oh, okay. Let's see if I can find. Let's see. Tucson man convicted of Tucson man convicted of raping 7 women in 12 years. Whoa. Oof. Is he the primetime person? No. Okay. Oof. But yeah, it's not exactly like crime free. Let's see if I can find it because it's behind a paywall in the Arizona Republic. But I saw it someplace else. UPI.com. Serial rapist gets reckless. So this is 1986, Tucson, Arizona. The primetime rapist who has terrorized families for 2 years, breaking into their homes in the early evenings, got careless in his last attack, possibly because of a drug habit, authorities said Tuesday. The serial rapist, armed with a 9 millimeter silver colored automatic, left clues in his first attack in 5 months, holding a family hostage for 5 hours until fleeing about 2:30 a.m. Tuesday. He broke into their home by pulling out a window screen while the family watched TV. The intruder sexually assaulted two females in the household, handcuffed the husband, and used window cord to bind the others. He forced the family to withdraw $300 from a nearby ATM. The sheriff's department and Tucson's police formed a special task force March 31st to catch the man believed to be responsible for 20 or more rapes and robberies since February of 1984. Oh my God. Victims range in age from 5 to 49. Oof. A $10,000 reward has been offered for his capture. The rapist took off his ski mask and also freebased cocaine during his latest sexual attack, Pima County Sheriff Clarence Dupnick said. He also said that he had a substantial debt he was in trouble over, and he needs money desperately. We think he's getting careless because of the drugs. It was his first attack since last December. The man also left footprints from a distinctive tennis shoe and unspecified physical evidence, which will be analyzed by the FBI. Authorities call him the primetime rapist because he breaks into homes during the early evening hours and catching families off guard. Dupnick described the rapist as being about 30 years old with a bushy mustache and dark wavy hair. He claims to be well versed in martial arts. Police Chief Peter Ronstadt, I wonder if he's related to Linda Ronstadt, said he hoped, it's not a common name, he hoped new information about the attacker and his drug habit would prompt someone who knows him to tip police. But I think he was caught, though. This is an old article. This is from UPI.com archives, May 6, 1986. So this is when they were still looking for him. So she moved there in the 70s. Oh, I got to do math. Let me see. I need to yank that out of there. So if Savannah, let's see, 2026. Savannah was born in 1972. It's 19. So she was 12. So her dad was still alive, and they were living there because I think they moved in. They might have moved in there after the dad died. Because I think he passed in 76. Yeah, I think they moved in after he passed. But anyway, so she was. Oh, so she wasn't. Was she even there? Eight years. Oh, so she was in college. So she wasn't even there when that was going on. I mean, well, actually, when she went to college, I mean, she might have already graduated, and then went to law school. But so she wasn't even there when that happened. Um, she was in school when she went to college, where her mother worked. She just stayed home. She, was Arizona University. But yeah, that's kind of crazy. Let's see. What is his name? Did they catch him? Let's see now. I don't know. I thought they caught him. So anyway, so this woman that um, this woman that's letting Brian stay, park at his thing. She's saying, "Oh, it's so safe here. We leave our windows open. We leave our doors unlocked. We don't have ring cameras and stuff. But there's crime there, break-ins and stuff. So, and I'm sure when this happened, um, they were locking their doors. Oh, look at that! Wow. Hang on. So the primetime rapist who terrorized Tucson, Arizona in the mid '80s was Brian Frederick La Riva. Uh, Here are the key details regarding the case. The rampage between roughly 1984 and 1986, a serial rapist committed a series of attacks, often targeting homes in the affluent Catalina foothills area during early evening hours, prime time. The perpetrator broke into homes, often while families watched TV, and was known to tie up residents and force them to withdraw money from ATMs. The suspect, Brian Frederick LaRiva, was identified as the perpetrator. He was a local electrician, see, and air conditioning mechanic who lived in the 5000 block of East First Street. So that's usually like, so they know the areas, they case the areas while they're working on their homes, you know. Wrongful arrest. In May 1986, the Pima County Sheriff's Department wrongly arrested another man, Michael Cooper, due to a faulty fingerprint identification. Oh my God. Whew. So many things, can really mess up people, um, and cause a lot of problems. Death on September 24th, 1986, as law enforcement closed in on him. Lariva committed suicide by shooting himself, of course, because they're having cowards. Impact. Police attributed 13 to over 20 attacks to him. Jeez. Another serial rapist case in Tucson involved Robert Lee Walden, occurred in 1991, but the 1980s primetime rapist case is specifically associated with Brian LaRiva. So now here's something else that's new. DNA connects firefighter to multiple violent rapes in Tucson. Now I gotta wait. And this is KOLD news. Firefighter. So yeah, you just don't know. Like people coming over, pest control, electricians, contractors, subcontractors, you know, firefighters. But you just don't know. DNA connects firefighter to multiple violent rapes in Tucson decades ago. This was an article from December of 2024. Tucson, Arizona. Tucson police say they solved a series of rape cases from more than 30 years ago, but tell us the suspect still living in southern Arizona may not face justice. Why not? Decades say their hand. Oh, I can't talk to you now. Detectives say their hands are tied, all because the clock has run out on the statute of limitations. I thought they, I thought they changed that. I mean, I know that they're changing it because it's a violent crime. There should be no statute of limitations on that. Jeez, that's how little they care about victims. Victims believe the system has failed them. They're terrifying cases. They're the cases where the victims are home, in some cases asleep, some cases not asleep, but the suspect breaks in and then covers their face and then sexually assaults them. After 34 years, Tucson police detectives said a suspected serial rapist was identified through DNA. However, the statute of limitations in Arizona at the time. But see, now what they should have done, and in December of 2024, it was possible to do that. Like now, what they'll do is they'll take that DNA and they'll file a case on that DNA to stop the clock. And they have done that. And they started doing that a while ago. Why didn't Tucson do that? However, the statute of limitations in Arizona at the time of the crimes may prevent prosecutors from seeking a conviction. 13 News spent hours poring over documents related to the investigation. The cases went cold until a recent grant allowed the TPD to do advanced DNA testing on its rape kits. So there has to be like some kind of loophole. We're testing every kit, so they just held on to these kits. We're testing every kit and we're letting every victim know that if we are able to identify a suspect, we're letting them know who the suspect is. That is their right to know. So why can't they put a charge on the kit? Like like they got a kit decades ago, you put a charge on that kit. Or even like when they started really having breakthroughs in DNA, why not just put stop the clock right there? Just stop it. Unbelievable. And so 30 years ago, so what if he was like, if he was in his 20s, so he's only in his 50s. I mean, he's still dangerous. I mean, even if he's in his 80s, he could still be dangerous. But, oh my God, unbelievable. So there's got to be more recent cases. There has to be. The FBI notified the TPD in May that the DNA of one man was tied to three different rapes from 89 to 90, all near the University of Arizona campus. Wow. Wow. In July, detectives responded to that man's home to serve a warrant to get a cheek swab. Days later, it was confirmed his DNA matched the DNA recovered in the cases. In a lab report, officials note the frequency of occurrence of this DNA profile among unrelated individuals in the U.S. population is estimated to be 1 in 610 octillion. That's 610 followed by 27 zeros. Despite the DNA link, he has not yet been charged. That's because the statute of limitations has expired. He's a serial offender, and I can't arrest him and get him off the streets. It's very alarming. So there's got to be more cases out there. Through an investigation, 13 News found out Abraham Pedrego is the man whose DNA is connected to these cases. On October 13, 2024, the new 13 News reached out to the South Tucson Fire Department and the Tucson Airport Fire Department after finding out he was employed as a firefighter. That same day, we received a response from South Tucson officials saying, quote, Abraham Pedegro was a part-time reserve with firefighter with the City of South Tucson's fire department. However, as of earlier today, is no longer a part-time employee of the City of South Tucson. We asked if he was fired and if it was due to the TPD findings about his involvement in sexual assaults from years ago. Can't they do a civil case? I guess same thing, right? We were told yes, he was let go, and this was due to the TPD findings. The Tucson Airport Fire Department told 13 News Mr. Pedegro is on a paid administrative leave pending the outcome of an employment-related investigation. 5 days later, we received another email from the airport saying Abraham Pedegro has resigned his position with the Tucson Airport Authority. On November 14th, 13 News received a tip that Pedegro was employed by the Picture Rocks Fire District. When we explained to them the DNA findings, and after speaking with TPD, they immediately terminated his part-time employment. To be clear, Pedegro has not been charged with a crime. 13 News wanted to give him the opportunity to talk with us about his DNA being tied to these cases and how that led to his firing and resignation at the two fire departments. We stopped by his house, but the area was gated, so we called. He answered the phone, but he didn't want to talk to us. Documents revealed he retained the Suzuki law firm. We made multiple attempts to contact them and did not hear back. It's pretty horrible. It's frustrating. It makes me angry. I can't really describe it beyond that, says Young. Angry because no matter what the science shows or how much law enforcement believes someone may be guilty, the statute of limitations at the time of these crimes barred anything from being done after 7 years. They have got to do something about that. Other jurisdictions, and I think in New York, where they stopped the clock. They got the DNA and they stopped the clock. This case is particularly hard because these cases have remained unsolved for so long, and going back and notifying the victims that we have identified the suspect but aren't able to make an arrest does not feel like justice. It's miserable, Wilson said. The second part of our series airs Wednesday night in the story. Okay, so his name, let's see if I can look it up, because this is an old article. This is from December of 2024. Let's look it up, see what's going on. I just happened to, it's from 13 News out of Arizona. So there's something on Reddit. There's something from a year ago saying the same thing. And it looks like he was a predator. Oh no, that's something else. Yeah, so I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing anything where he was arrested or other cases connected to him. No. Just the same from 35 years ago. And he's 56. So 56, and this article in Reddit, True Crime Discussion Reddit, at the time they have him at 56 years old. So he's still dangerous. And I'm sure he didn't just stop. So if this was in 1990, which was 30, oh my God, I got to do math. 20, 90, 36 years ago. So he's 20 years old, which is right about the age, right? 20 years old. So there's no way he stopped. There's no way. And he's 56 still. It might be not as frequent, but there has to be other cases that they can like bring him in that are more recent, because there's no way he just stopped. There's no way he just stopped. It's crazy. And really, it has to be across the board to take that statute of limitations off. Across the board. Stop with the bullshit. And because that crime is a crime of violence and control and power, and that is just a prelude to escalate to murder. So they really need to remove that. Like what states removed the statute of limitations on rape? Numerous U.S. states have removed or significantly extended the statutes of limitations for rape and sexual assault, particularly for cases involving minors or when DNA evidence is available. Key states that have eliminated or largely removed time limits for prosecuting these crimes include California, Delaware, Florida, Hawaii, Louisiana, Maryland, Montana, New Jersey, New York, Texas, and Wyoming. So, key details on Total removal. Criminals. States like Delaware and Wyoming have no statute of limitations for any criminal sexual offense. That needs to be nationwide. That needs to be nationwide. Child sexual abuse. Many states, including Alabama, have removed or significantly extended the civil statute of limitations for child sexual abuse, allowing lawsuits decades after the event. It should be no statute of limitations, period. Recent changes, 2020 to 2024, states like New York, New Jersey, and Illinois have enacted laws to eliminate time limits or create look-back windows, allowing survivors to file, as noted in Chicago Tribune. Civil versus criminal. While some states remove limitations on criminal prosecution, others, for example, Colorado, focused on removing them for civil lawsuits. Conditional exceptions. In some states, the statute of limitations is removed only if DNA evidence is discovered. So they stop the clock. And they file a criminal charge against that DNA. And New York started that, I do believe. Because these laws are frequently updated, it's important to check the specific current statutes for each state. So come on, Arizona. Get with the program here. Because that man did not stop in the 90s. He was in his 20s. He did not stop. So there have got to be other cases out there and people who didn't report, because what happens is many times people are afraid to report or ashamed to report. So yeah, states are beginning to remove, that was 2 years ago, statute of limitations. Yeah, they just need to do it across the board. It's bullshit. It's bullshit that they even have it and that this guy is like walking around. Oof. I'm glad they put his name out there. It's just unbelievable. Anyway, yeah, so what's current cases, ongoing investigations? So the Utah triple homicide. The following timeline documents the known events surrounding the triple homicide investigation at Wayne County, Utah, involving Ivan W. Miller. Authorities allege Miller, a 22-year-old from Iowa, randomly killed 3 women on March 4th, 2026. Oh my God. Including an elderly resident. Oh, yes, I did hear about this. In Lyman, Utah, and 2 hikers at the Coxcomb Trailhead. Investigators say Miller had no known connection to the victims or the area. Yes, I did hear about that. Oof. Aaliyah Henderson case. This is the woman who killed her 2 babies and then buried them. Turns out, like right in literally her backyard, there was a fenced-in playing field, and that's where this is in Ohio. March 2nd, 2026, a man walking his dog in a field near Ginn Academy in Cleveland noticed a suitcase partially buried in the ground. Aaliyah Henderson is a 28-year-old woman from Cleveland who was charged. Prosecutors allege the victims were her daughters, 10 and 8. The case drew national attention because of the disturbing circumstances surrounding the discovery. It's horrifying. William Neal McCaslin, Silver Alert. The Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office continues the active search and investigation into the disappearance of a 68-year-old William Neal McCaslin, who was last seen on Friday, February 27, 2026, at 11 a.m. at the area of Quail Run Court Northeast. A silver alert remains in effect. BCSO is coordinating with partners at Kirkland Air Force Base to expand outreach and speed information sharing that may assist in locating Mr. McCaslin. So this is out of where? Well, oh, is that Nebraska? Okay. Let me click on it. I guess they never found that one professor who went on a hike. I haven't heard here. Professor, see, this is me going into rabbit holes. Professor who went on hike, not found. I think he was in his 60s. Charles House, or Hausch, a 67-year-old SMU law professor and Dallas attorney, has been missing since November of 2025 after embarking on a hike on Blood Mountain in northern Georgia. Despite an extensive initial search, he has not been found, leading his family to hire private search teams. Yeah, and he did. He was like an avid hiker, and there's a picture on him on a trail cam, and he doesn't have any gear with him. Like he doesn't have water with him. He doesn't have any gear with him. So I don't know, like if he was sundowning or he planned to do something and he just went for a walk. Um, yeah, see the conditions. The area is characterized by steep, dense, and difficult terrain with cold temperatures posing a risk of hypothermia. Yeah, it says background. Hosh is an experienced hiker familiar with the area, but he didn't bring anything with him. He just looked like he was dressed for a walk, like a walk in the street, not a walk on a hike. Um, yeah, they suspended the search after 2 weeks, but the case remains open, so they're still looking for him. I mean, somebody, a hiker, somebody will unfortunately stumble upon his remains. He might have been sundowning. I mean, why would you not take anything? If you're an experience, always take something with you. But then again, it happens that they don't. So this is out of Silver Alert. Um, I guess it's Nebraska. Unknown clothing description, unknown direction of travel. Due to his medical issues, law enforcement is concerned for his safety. Yeah, 68. Now he's 68. Um, so he just took a walk. What was the actor's name who took a walk and they found him? They found his remains. He just took a walk. Yeah, it's just saying. Oh no, it's Albuquerque, New Mexico. Oh, because it's Quail Run Court Northeast, so Albuquerque, New Mexico. So just the terrain and the weather. Yeah, so they're just saying that. Yeah, he took a walk, pretty much. Who was the actor? Actor, and he was a popular actor too. What was his name? Actor's remains found after hike. Julian Sands. So the remains of British actor Julian Sands was found on June 24th, 2023 by hikers on Mount Baldy in Southern California 5 months after he went missing during a January 2023 hike. The 65-year-old, yeah, see, in their 60s, 65-year-old avid hiker disappeared during severe icy conditions. His death was officially confirmed on June 27, 2023, though the case remains undetermined. So they feel that he died from exposure. Maybe he got hurt. But the thing is, so I don't think he took any gear with him either. The remains were discovered in the Mount Baldy Bowl area of the San Gabriel Mountains. Discovery by hikers, and that's probably going. It was is going to. It's probably what will happen with these other two. Discovery by hikers. A group of hikers in a remote area discovered the remains and personal items, including his phone with him, a wallet with a driver's license, and trekking poles. So he had trekking poles with him. Search context. Despite multiple intensive search efforts by authorities, the harsh, wintry, and treacherous terrain hindered efforts until the snow began to melt months later. Sands was known for his roles in films such as A Room with a View and TV shows like Smallville and 24. Yeah, he was popular. I mean, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I would take like a, cell phones aren't always reliable. I would take a good walkie talkie with me because you might be able to get somebody. But then again, I wouldn't be hiking alone. As a female, that's not something we would do because, I mean, there are females who will, but where men are victims too, but women are more likely victims. And plus, two, in your 60s, even if you're healthy, you can fall and hurt yourself and get stuck because you can't climb out of it. So, so I think something else was happening too. Like again, you know, maybe a little bit of sundowners. I don't know. Do you get? I mean, I'm 66, so for me to say that, but I, and I think it's a genetic thing. So my mom's 86. She's fine. So I follow her health track. So, um, but anyway, so yeah, so I'm just jumping around here. I just had to see where that man was from. Yeah, it's sad. Nancy Guthrie, they have Nancy Guthrie on there. There's really nothing new. They're just checking into maybe the guy had a signal um, uh, interrupter, I forget what it's called, to stop anybody's close by their Wi-Fi from working, so the cameras don't work. I think I think it's really the simplest thing. When I first saw that video of the guy coming up to her door, I was like, oh, is that a homeless person just kind of casing the area? So that was my initial kind of like reaction was it was just like somebody checking to see what doors might be open, um, you know, or knowing that Nancy was, living alone there and she was an elderly female, which are, vulnerable. There are predators that will target elderly females. Um, and it could just be as simple as that. And he took her out with him because maybe she scratched him and maybe there was a struggle. And so now his DNA is all over her and he doesn't know where. So he just took her somewhere, you know? I think it's really like, I don't think it's all this other stuff like, ties to Savannah, like somebody stalking her, teaching her a lesson, or a kidnapper, or the cartel. I think it's really a crime of opportunity. So hopefully they find her and there's a resolution, but it may take a long time. So we got Ashley Flynn. What's going on in Ohio? All kinds of crazy shit happening in Ohio. Ashley Flynn, so the American Idol contestant, her husband, um, saying that somebody came in and shot her twice in the head, well, maybe not the head, shot her twice um, in a home invasion while him and the kids are home with his gun. Um, anyway, so he's got his attorney. Still kind of bothers me that the judge was asking him about why should I give you bail and why didn't he wait for the attorney to say I don't know, I didn't understand that. Anyway, so there you go. Spencer and Monique Tepe still kind of I think there was supposed to be a hearing with the ex-husband, but I think because Tanya from Titanium Built, she was going to go to that hearing, but I think the hearing got canceled. So let's see. Yeah, and his attorney she's gotten quite a few people off that were, you know. Let me go down to the end and see what they have. But I think that this past hearing was canceled. Yeah, so the last thing they have on here is February 3rd, 2026. The Franklin County Coroner's Office released its autopsy reports for Spencer and Monique Tepe. So Spencer was shot 7 times and Monique was shot 9 times, all in the face. And the thing is that everybody's saying, oh, he was, uh, they were only shot because they found 2 casings or 3 casings that he shot Spencer twice and her once. But I saw somewhere in a report that they were both shot multiple times. And sure enough, he just emptied the clip out on them. Just emptied the clip. It's just sick people. Just like so beyond like sick. Like 10 years you're talking. She walked out on him in 2015 or 2016. Whatever. It's like 10 years. Just sickness. People are just sick. Anyway, so that's still pending. Anna Kempna, so the 18-year-old who was killed by her allegedly 16-year-old stepbrother, who they're saying that sexual assault was involved. The FBI charged him. I guess there was a confusion on how to charge him because it happened on open water. But he's been charged. I don't know if he's arrested. He was staying with family members. Kelsey Fitzsimmons, that's still happening. Yeah, the Rebecca Park. I mean, these are just such atrocious cases. Okay, the Lily and Jack Sullivan. Gavin, I didn't catch the beginning of his live, but there was some kind of polygraph done. And I don't know, maybe it didn't turn out too well for the people who took the polygraphs. I don't know. Let's see. These are 2 children, 2 babies out of, is it Nova Scotia? It's 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother, Jack, reported missing at 10 a.m. May 2nd, 2025, from their home on Garlock Road in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, Glasgow, Nova Scotia. Yeah, that's sus. And yeah. So they're saying some kind of polygraph happened, ongoing and escalation. There's a lot of noise around like cases like this and misinformation, and I'm trying to think. Oh no, let's see if there's anything recent. Whoa, they got a lot of information on this one. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about the polygraph. Let me see if I can find it. So May 12, 2025, Martell and Brooks Murray did separate polygraph tests. Polygraphs conducted, Daniel Martell, the stepfather, found truthful, and Malia Brooks Murray, the mother, found truthful. That's what, I don't know who's saying that, but I think here. I'm going to run out of time on my battery. Let's see. Developments. A blanket belonging to Lily was found in the woods shortly after the disappearance. Yeah, that's. I can't. I can't even. Use some polygraph results. I can't usually do babies. 15 hours ago. Second round of polygraphs conducted in disappearance. This is from CBC, the Canada paper. Second round of polygraphs conducted in disappearance of, there we go. So March today. Nova Scotia RCMP have conducted a second round of polygraph examinations in the disappearance of Jack and Lily Sullivan, with two of those tests focused on one of the only pieces of physical evidence in the case, a light pink blanket found hanging in a tree. Oof, those poor babies. Lily, 6, and Jack, then 4, were reported missing on the morning of May 2nd, 2025, from Lansdowne, Nova Scotia, a sparsely populated area about 140 kilometers northeast of Halifax. Their disappearance sparked a massive grid search of the thick woods surrounding their homes where they lived with their mother, Malia Brooks Murray, stepfather Daniel Martel, and their younger sister. Piece of Lily's blanket. Oh, they show a picture of it. Okay, so let's see what happened. Family members on all sides have suggested online and in media interviews that it was planted, that the blanket. See this? Yeah, it gets crazy. And then creators start fighting with each other. It really gets ridiculous. And then they make shit up, and it's like, please, people, you know. For Fernandad, a polygraph was simply another box to. Brooks Murray confirmed to CBC News that she has undergone a second polygraph examination and that she was told she passed. She would not elaborate on the questions she was asked. During the interview in January, RCMP Staff Sergeant Rob McCanamam said there were a number of different areas investigators were following up on in connection with the blanket. We'll make decisions on that once we have all that we need, but right now we're not in a position to really comment on that. For Fernandad, her polygraph was simply another box to tick. I knew that I went into the test being truthful, and I knew my result was going to be truthful. So it was really just another normal day, another task to complete in the pursuit of finding out what happened to them, said Fernandad, becoming emotional at times. It hurts the longer time because is that the grandmother? Martel previously told CBC News that all questions he was asked during his first polygraph was presumptive, that the children were no longer alive, such as, did you kill Lily and Jack? Yeah, I remember that. Martel did not respond to a request for comment from CBC News on the second round of polygraphs. It might not have gone too well. Fernandad and Mary Smith were not polygraphed during the first round of tests. So who knows? Who knows? I mean, their pictures, a couple of their pictures, they look like a normal house, but who knows the conditions? Because when you look at pictures of the property, it looks kind of rough, right? Yeah, whatever. I can't do kids because just like this whole 90-day fiance case with a 5-week-old baby. Oh my God. All right, well, that's it. I only expected to stay on here for what? I don't know, 30 minutes, but then I can ramble on and on and on. And it's about time for Cassie to go for her nighttime walk. Oh, yes, I know you heard me. I know. Did I say the magic word? Huh? Did I say the magic word? All right. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for popping in. I'll be back. Oh, yes. Yes, I got you. I got you. I got you. Hang on. Let me move all this out of the way. Yes, I got you. Yeah, she wants her, her normal stuff that I give her, her little freeze dried fruit and fresh fruit and all that. But I don't want to give her anything, just her kibble until everything's 100% cleared up. And then we can get back to her regularly healthy. I mean, now she's looking at the fridge right now. She's like, give me something now. I want something now. I want something now. But we can't. We have to wait until we get 100% clearance. Right, Missy? All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. And I will see how it goes for the rest of the week. If I'm going to, I missed my book club tonight. I belong to a Nomad book club, and it's just you can read anything. It's not an assigned book, which is perfect for me. Like you could just come with whatever you read. So I was going to talk about the Frederick Douglass, which I haven't read the Life and Times of Frederick Douglass and My Bondage yet, because I haven't been able to focus on that, and I will once I get. There she is. There she is. Once I once I read that, what I downloaded from the internet um, archive.org, I will set it up and do a reading of it. But I was going to talk about um, his narrative tonight. And then I completely, we went on a really long walk since the weather kind of warmed up the last few days. We've been going on our long walks. And then it started raining on us and we got back in the nick of time, and then a storm blew through. But um, and I was going to talk about, but I completely forgot. Even though I have umpteen reminders of everything, my ADHD takes over. And at like 7, I don't know, 6:45, it was like because it was at 6:15. But that's okay. I wasn't feeling it. So I was just kind of focused on her, focused on Cassie all week. So all last week and weekend. So all right. Well, again, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. I gotta end the stream. I have to end the stream. See you next time.